Hi, Scorpio. Here is an in a nutshell version of your solar chart for the whole of 2013. A very quick overview. If you want more information, then you can go to my website and you'll find the Mercury Retrograde phases and other little bits and pieces as well about the likely effects of the planets on your sun sign. Now Mercury is actually where I'm going to start. It's going to be in Pisces, a fellow water sign, for quite a long time next year, and so this is worth a mention. It will be in Pisces from February the 6th to April the 14th, and for you it's going to mean that your thinking is going to be have to be more creative for some reason, or focused on leisure pursuits, entertainments, promotions, speculative activity, maybe a little bit of risk-taking will be on your mind, but also romantic liaisons, fun, young energy, kind of upbeat energy, and playful energy as well. So it tends to mean that conversations and correspondence and ideas and networking and all of that sort of stuff will be centered around this enterprising, perhaps romantic area. And if you are connected to the performance or leisure industries, then very much your mind is going to be centered on that as well. But also there is this kind of slight feeling of a bit of a buzz, a bit of a risk going on as well. Mercury will be going retrograde for part of that transit, that long transit there, so you can find when that bit's going to be on my website. It'll be about 3 weeks of it. Now there's going to be 2 solar eclipses, very important for you. In fact, I think coming up we've got quite an important year for you, Scorpio, because you've got Saturn in your sign, and that's got to be the headline news, but also the solar eclipses as well. So one's going to be in your opposite sign and one's going to be in your own sign. So it's going to put a lot of activity on the sort of me-you axis, my personal interests, but also how can I dovetail what I want out of life with the people who are important to me, whether I choose them or not in my life. So the first one is going to be happening on May the 9th, and the focus is going to be in Taurus. And that signals new beginnings through your one-to-one relationships. It could be like there's change or new beginnings happening with a partner, and then that has a knock-on effect with you. But because it is a neutral energy, then you get the chance to choose how you'd like this fresh start to kind of take shape. If you take a step in the right direction on the day of the eclipse, or just very close to the eclipse the day before, on the day of the day, a day or two after maybe. But it's usually better to do it before, as a matter of fact, because the thing about eclipses is we start to feel the change energy coming in before the actual day of the physical eclipse. And there could be these new beginnings, you putting out feelers maybe into connecting up with certain others, cultivating certain others, or indeed it can be in your personal life, or in your sort of close one-to-one interactions in your professional life, however it is. It's a neutral energy, so make the most of that. And then the second solar eclipse is going to be happening in your sign in your birthday time, late in the year, November the 3rd, and that signals a chance for new beginnings related to what you want personally in life, how you want it to be in the future, and so you can get into gear related to your goals out there, but also, outwardly, but also internally, and also for physically as well, because if the eclipse is in your sign, maybe some of you want to get better physically, or want to get your space right, or whatever it is. So anyway, that is going to come 6 months, so the eclipse energy will be lasting about 6 months from when the eclipse actually physically happens, the first one in May, the second one in November. Venus and Mars are going to be in very long transits, but they're not starting until towards the very end of the year. But just very briefly, Venus is going to be in Capricorn from November the 5th 2013 to March the 6th, 2014, and that would tend to bring very supportive energy into your area to do with communications, education, putting the word out somehow or other, and your social life, you know, mixing and mingling with the right sort of people, and gathering the information you need, disseminating the information you need. But as I say, that's happening later on in the year, and then Mars is even later than that. Mars goes into Libra, the sign before yours, on December the 8th, and will stay until July the 25th, 2014, a very long transit, dynamically activating your area of higher service to others, working quietly, getting on with it behind the scenes, doing inner work. For some of you, this will compute as inner work, psychological work, spiritual work, healing work, psychic work, or artistic. This is a very artistic area. And definitely whatever it's about, whether it's artistic or spiritual or psychic or healing, you should be taking more time to do nurturing, lovely things for yourself, because you will feel lent upon a bit more. Your boundaries will be a bit more open, so you've got to pull them in a bit more. You've got to pull yourself in a bit more and protect yourself a bit more. But more on that as we get nearer the time. That one doesn't happen till around about a year from now. Now, over 2013, Jupiter entered Gemini on June the 11th, 2012, and will stay there until June the 25th, 2013. And then it will transit out of there and go on into Cancer, where it will stay until July 2014, when it enters Leo. So for you, I would say, and this always depends on the natal chart, but just on a solar chart level, that the second half of the year is going to be more expansive in many ways than the first half of the year. So until June the 25th, Jupiter is in a joint financial area, and that's no bad thing to have the planet of expansion and maybe, you know, abundance in a financial house, or a house to do with property, joint finances, joint interests, you know, sort of lending, borrowing, making a space available, and you can benefit from all of that. You know, somebody helping you out there, somebody picking up the tab. And it can just mean that the things that you physically, materially need, whether that's money or equipment or venues or space or, in fact, moral support, you know, emotional kind of stability. This is a very good aspect coming in from Jupiter where it is until mid-year. So all of that could be more available to you and give you that stable launch pad to leap off into success. But then from mid-year onwards, Jupiter comes into a very, very lovely angle to your sun sign in a more outgoing house, and it means that you will feel very enthusiastic, I think, about things. It'll be almost like a good time to launch into something, a good beginning there, and you could be making lots of new connections, communicating with people, or the sorts of ways of communicating you're not used to, and more travel, more connecting with people at a distance, or coming from a distance, or going to a distance, and definitely your mind opening, because it could perhaps not be so physical. It might be like your mind is opening to new realities, and those ideals are, you know, getting a little bit more idealistic, but with Saturn in your sign, having to be very realistic about how things really are, or how to make something doable, how to realize something in fact, you know, ground truth. So huge learning curve for you from mid-year onwards, massive learning curve, and as I say, Jupiter is in a lovely angle to your sun sign, and media could be coming in here, putting out the word across a wider stage could be coming in here, higher education, travel, You just new areas of intellectual or any kind of interest opening up to you, really, all potentially there with Jupiter, and you being seen as the guide, you being seen as the teacher, you being seen as the advisor more with Jupiter there. So actually both parts of the year are very, very good for you. Even though Jupiter's in an air sign to begin the year, it's in a fantastic house of your solar chart, as I say, giving you the wherewithal. You know, you might just on the merry-go-round of life put your hand up and actually grasp that golden ring with Jupiter in the house that Jupiter's going to be in and has been in since mid 2012, and all the natives of your sign are going to feel the Jupiter influence this year, because he's coming all the way through one sign and then he's going up to about 20 degrees of the next sign. Now Saturn. This is real life. This is the wake up and smell the coffee planet. Okay, so Saturn came into your sign October the 5th, 2012, October the 5th, 6th, and will be leaving in 2015. It happens every nearly 30 years that Saturn comes into your sign. If you're old enough, you can look back 30 years to see what happened the last time Saturn came through your sign and what happened next. It can be quite useful, it can be quite an eye-opener. If you're not old enough, then I'll ask a Libran. They might be able to give you some sort of an idea. Ask a Libran without too much of a biased view of things. But in a Saturn cycle, you are, cutting your teeth on challenging new beginnings, and being the gauntlets of life is thrown down at your feet and say, okay, let's show me what you can do. All right, so it's the great tester and teacher of the zodiac, Saturn. She teaches, and yes, it is a female planetary energy. Like, I always see her as a kind of strict mother superior. She teaches in a really tough love kind of a way, though. So, but she's a wonderful builder, and if you get her on your side, she is the best ally, the best cohort, the best partner in crime, or brother or sister in arms you could ever have. Actually, I should say sister in arms, shouldn't I? Because it is a female energy. And how do you get on the right side of it is to be obedient and work hard and be persevering and self-disciplined and just keep chewing it up and spitting it out and moving on through the next obstacle. And when that testing phase is done and she's tested your mettle, then things will really start to build in your life. So over this Saturn cycle, you got to concentrate on what you really need to be doing for yourself. New foundations in your life are going to be built, because that's what she likes to do, build foundations. And building things in a way, even though you get pushed off the path all the time, or seem to get sort of elbowed out of the way, get back on, get back on the bike, get back on the path, get back on the horse. Unless, of course, something becomes a chronic thing where it's tiring you out constantly, then you have to say, okay, this Saturn vibration running through me and through my life at the moment is trying to nudge me to look in another direction, because that can also be the case, and to sort of ditch this relationship that I have with this job, this idea, this person, this place, whatever it is, and move on. And then you start to feel the building energy of Saturn. So I tried to give you just a kind of an idea of what it might feel like. Saturn will help you build a framework. Saturn will help you build an armature once you get on the right side of her and you satisfy her criteria. And then off you go. And anything done under Saturn will stand the test of time, will stand you in good stead further on down the line when Saturn leaves your sign and goes on into the next areas of the zodiac. And you Scorpios born the 26th of October to the 13th of November, or with between 3 to 21 degrees of Scorpio rising, are going to feel this vibration the most over 2013, and that's just on the level of your sun, not your planets. Now, Uranus is going to be transiting a sector of daily work, routines and health for several years. Well, it's already been there for a few years. So you're beginning to get used to maybe more innovative ways of working, unusual ways of working, ditching something or a path that you thought you were on and moving on into something else. Don't forget this very innovative kind of bouncy, buzzy, zingy energy in that work area, which means that you should go for approaches which are kind of different. Methodologies, maybe not throw the baby out with the bathwater, you know, or with the whole career plan or anything like that, but just something different, feeding differentness in, innovation in, invention in. Maybe this isn't about a career, maybe this is just about how you are on a daily basis, maybe it's about health, because it can be there as well. And again, feeding in that unorthodox approach, that cutting edge thinking, that cutting edge, you know, maybe working not in the physical, maybe it's more to do with a mental approach or an emotional approach, or maybe it's not, maybe it is to do with the physical, or maybe it's all of them. And that's called holistic. So it can be anything like that. Also, Uranus rules groups. So maybe, you know, if it's a health thing, then it's great to collaborate within a group to sort of compare notes. Or maybe if it's a work thing, then maybe you should be thinking about working more in a team, more in a group, in a crew of some kind, you know, the crew. But also there's something to do with this common aim, this shared interest that this crew has, that takes you somewhere just with the twist, somewhere just a bit different, you see. So there has to be this feeling with, ideally, this feeling with Uranus here, that you're not following the tried and tested path, that you are actually reaching out into rather sort of maybe exotic new areas. It can be in a minor way, but it's just enough to give that little zest, you know, of lemon to the taste there. Or maybe something else like quince or persimmon, or, you know, just something a bit unusual. And you Scorpios born from the 26th of October to the 5th of November are likely to feel the energy the most over 2013. Now, Neptune, for many years, Neptune was at the root of your chart, confusing things in your feelings, maybe related to your point on the map, where you belonged, who you belonged with, or confusing your thinking or feelings about family members, your history. Maybe there was some confusing circumstances affecting members of the family as well, and the very sort of earth under your feet, feeling as though it wasn't stable, you know, a bit like that feeling when you're standing on the sand and a wave comes in, and it's only a little trickly wave, and it just goes under your feet, and then it sucks out, and you feel all of the sand just start to disappear under the soles of your feet. You know that feeling? That's a bit like how Neptune was, but Neptune's moved away from there now, and so the ground under your feet is starting to become solid. You know where you belong. You're going to know where you belong. You're going to feel safer and more stable about who to be with, where to be, and what to be doing there, and more with a taste to take an outside chance, to go with the dream, whether that's in a relationship or, again, getting back to what I was saying earlier, a speculative idea or investment or creative enterprise, or you know, major work of some kind, or minor work, or maybe it's to do with children, you know, little ones, youngsters, maybe it's to do with animals, maybe it's to do with something else completely. So anyway, you know, others might be saying, this is impossible, this is never going to work, but you invest in it, and you are a powerful sign, Scorpio, and so therefore you can use that vision and imbue that vision with your power into the future to make something real, to make something happen. But you've got to work at it, you've got to be ploddingly, humbly, ploddingly loyal to the outcome and to the manifesting of the idea, and it will work. Now, your ruling planet Pluto is transiting Capricorn and will be for many years to come, and this is in a very positive angle to your sun sign and making a positive impact on your thinking, and it's through this time, this planet of regeneration, death, rebirth, the phoenix coming up and from the ashes and helping your understanding about things to be born again. So you shouldn't underestimate the power of your own ruling planet, and also the power of your speech or your writing, or you're working through another medium of self-expression which is non-verbal. Don't underestimate what you've got there, you know, the tool you've got there with this very long transit of Pluto. It might be you're a sign that's known for your psychic ability and your sensitivity, and it might just be that this becomes enhanced now, and actually what you're putting out there is having quite an influence on others. So definitely choices should be coming from a deeper place. Your understanding is deepening. You're becoming more savvy. It might be through education that you're learning more. It might be through travel. It might be through language. It might be through just rubbing shoulders in everyday life with lots of different types of people. But it will be deepening, and also your insight will be deepening as well, and your insight into others will be deepening in your appreciation, but definitely what you might, you know, those of you who want to put the word out there in some way, through some artistic work or in some other kind of a way, can have quite a wide effect on people. And of course, for yourself, you could be receiving from, you know, other dimensions or other levels of consciousness, and become aware, you know, of separate realities to the one that you know, we are used to, the sort of what should we call it, the McDonald's version of reality, or steak and chips, or but you know, it might be something a little bit more exotic, because there's a huge menu out there in all the multiverses and in all the planes of being, and it just depends, you know, which doorway you go through in your perception. And you Scorpios born 30th of October to the 4th of November, always 7 to 12 degrees rising, are likely to feel this vibration the most over 2013, and that's it. If you go to my website, you'll find other little bits and pieces there, and also if you know your rising sign, you can listen to that too. And I wish you lots and lots of love and contentment and chilling out over the festive season, and I will see you the next time.